We are doing this thing live. Here's some music. Daydreamin', the name of the track. Orange and Blue Today, presented by Sean Ponda. The name of the game, the name of the show, the big show. And I am Cecil Lammey, riding solo today. Andrew Mason is on assignment. Mason and I will be together in studio tomorrow, so everyone get excited about that, and everyone get excited about the Denver Nuggets. It seems like that is dominating the sports headlines as well. It should be. Certainly is fun to watch the Denver Nuggets, and certainly is fun to contemplate what's going to be with the Denver Broncos this year. Now, you'll notice on my left, am I right? Your left, am I right? Who's on first? Whatever. I've got the rundown from Friday's show because we never got to the heavy dose of Pirine, and I wanted to begin today's program by talking about that. Obviously, I have to talk about the OTA schedule that's been released. I have to discuss our Fantasy GMs sleeping on the Denver Broncos. That's coming up in this program, as well as the battles in the secondary that we will look at there as well. So, as I look at what's on the docket today, the heavy dose of Pirine was an article, or the headline was based off an article from Nick Kosmider of The Athletic, good friend. And Nick also has a nice collection of shoes, not just all Jordans like me. But yeah, so I like Nick. I think he does good reporting. And here's the thing. This is more from a fantasy football lens, but I think it's good for all football fans to note there as well, because I've always been against the Bob Costas look down your nose at football fans, and there's just the drunk guy with the 2 beers in the hat with the straws. Like, I think football fans are a lot smarter than that. I think there is a craving from football fans for higher level of football discussion, and there's a lot of noise out there. Every time I turn around, there's an insider report about the Broncos that's bull pucky. I can't say what it is, but you know what it is. BS. And I think there's a lot of fans that are done wrong by these BS reports from insiders who aren't even at practice. Or I'll tell you a little bit of truth today. I'll tell you a lot of truth today, but there are people that go to practice to play grab ass. There are people that go to practice in the media that are there to catch up, or to tell stories, or to talk about baseball, or yes, even to talk about the Denver Nuggets. And that's fine. Listen, I'm going to be a snob when it comes to credentials. I'm going to be a snob when it comes to covering the Broncos. But damn it, when we get one rookie minicamp, and trust me, for 3 hours I was standing by myself, which is no problem. I don't say this as any sort of slight, or I wish I was, in the cool kids. Like, I could give a damn about that. I'm there to watch practice. But I've done this long enough. It's been 20 years. And my first credential was 2004. So, I've been on the air since 2003 in Denver. I've just seen it too often. I'm there to work, man. I'm there to watch. I'm not there to catch up. When we're in the media room, I can play catch up with you. When we're, they're stretching, right? Or let's say special teams is happening in practice. How's the family? How the kids? Like, yes, all these things. People ask how the comic books. I appreciate that, like, so much. But during practice, insiders are usually there playing grab ass. And that's the best way I can put it. Not there to actually watch practice or actually observe what's going on, but more there either to be seen. I was at practice. I was at the Broncos facility. Or there to catch up with their friends. And listen, I'm friends with most everybody in the Denver media. And there's a lot of really, really good people in the Denver media. But I do want to alert fans out there, and this goes back to my fantasy football take of, like, it's not just the information that you intake. Misinformation, cutting through the lies, and misinformation. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying, know where the information comes from. know the biases of that said reporter or analyst, and then also know, the strengths of that said reporter or analyst. And there is a difference between being a reporter and being an analyst. A lot of Broncos media are just reporters. Someone like Jeff Legwold, that's an analyst, because Jeff Legwold has forgotten more about football than I'll ever know. I love Leggy tremendously. So what I'm basically being long-winded about is just to tell you that during this time of year specifically, insiders, they're not really doing what they should be doing, in my opinion. Again, I'm different about this stuff, and I will bring you the information. I will bring you my observations. And yes, that means I'm going to miss on players, but yes, that means I'm going to hit on players. I want to talk about ball. I don't care about Russell Wilson's expanding or contracting waistline. I could give a damn. I don't even really care about the quarterback coaches in the building, and he's not. Okay, those things are somewhat interesting. Those things are somewhat telling, and there are certainly, news stories that get people fired up about this Broncos team. I want to talk ball. I want to talk, look at that gap run, look at these blocking schemes. I want to talk some of the stuff that the Broncos won't allow me to, because I don't want to give up their play designs or anything like that. We all know that Sean Payton, if he were to have his druthers, would be a spread gap system. That's what he wants to do. He wants to go 3 wide. He wants to spread you out, but he wants to run gap concepts. He's not going to be able to do that with the Broncos, my opinion. But also, my opinion, wink, there will be some spread gap concepts in this offense. And I wouldn't be surprised. Again, I'll do a Lassie bark. I wouldn't be surprised if, while we're at Broncos OTAs coming up the next 3 Thursdays, I'll at Broncos OTAs. Unfortunately, the final OTA, I'll be in Vegas for a fantasy football convention at Circa in Las Vegas. You may have heard my commercials on the Fan. So I'll be missing that final practice, which, it's part of the gig, whatever. But I think we're going to see spread gap as soon as you can, and you're going to see some of those concepts introduced for the Denver Broncos. But I'm trying to just paint a picture practice is practice, and we get to watch all the full practice in OTAs. It's fantastic. I love it. There's nothing better than I get to see all the Broncos practice. I don't get to see the stretching and maybe some drills one-on-one. I get to see everything. You can't say everything, but you can see it. And I would much rather talk ball than talk drama or controversy or Jerry Judy's tweeting or whatever. I really don't care about that type of stuff. I understand it's part of the conversation. I understand as a talk show host, I have to make it sometimes the part of the conversation, but it shouldn't be the drive and the focus. The focus is the Broncos being good again. The focus is the Broncos getting back on top of the mountain. I wrote it in Mile High Monday today at denversports.com. The Nuggets have been in a championship window since the bubble, at least. And the Broncos used to be that team where it's every year. Are they going to win it this year? Are they going to win it this year? They're going to win it this year? They're going to make a run this year? And now, I will take a playoff appearance. I will take a playoff berth. I'll take a wild card berth. That's for sure. But it also is much, much different and shows the levels of where the Broncos are currently at right now. So, things are different. But I just want to let you guys know that it's who is getting the information and where you're getting the information, because there's plenty of information. Hey, I've got my Broncos rookie minicamp report. And I will tell you, I've seen some of those reporters not watching practice, or again, playing grab ass, playing catch up, not actually taking notes, watching practice. And again, I don't care if I'm at practice watching by myself for 3 hours. That's what I want. I honestly, I feel like there's an old Dennis Miller quote when he's talking about seeing people in public. Hey, if I see you in public, and I'm at dinner with my family, I'm not there for you, I'm there for me. But if I see you at some comic book convention, you want to talk about the Squire of Gothos episode from Star Trek, then yeah, let's chat. For me, with my friends in the Denver media, I'm when it's practice, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. And maybe that sounds bad, and I sound like a jerk or a Dick Cheney or whatever. I honestly don't care, because what I want to do is I want to watch practice. I want to see the improvements the Denver Broncos are making. Sean Payton he's so dialed in during these practices. Vic Fangio didn't care about the offense. Every day. Vic Fangio would regularly ignore the offense, and as if his defense did something, he'd be like, "Yeah, good job, good job, man." But seeing Sean Payton, a rookie minicamp, and again, it was one day, but Sean Payton just dialed into everything that was going on, even special teams. I was like, even I check out during special teams, and I'm just there by myself watching practice. Like, leave me alone. I want to watch practice. But during special teams, I might jump on Twitter and say, "Oh my God, Drew Sanders, I love him." You'll love him too, by the way. So, okay, yeah, you'll see what Sean Payton brings to the field because his fingers in the pie, right? Is that the right analogy? Oh, maybe I'm hungry. Let me finish. Anyway, like his fingerprints are all over everything on this Broncos team, and I dig that, man. I love that for the Broncos because you have a coach that isn't just focused on what he does best. I'm a defensive genius. I'm a guru. And you don't have someone like Hackett who's an absolute clown. I don't want to make it personal. I'll actually get in trouble if I'll make it personal. True story. I've gotten in trouble before. It's not, they'll be all right. It's not personal when I say acted like a clown because I used to be able to stand next to Mike Shanahan during practice. It was early in my media days, didn't exactly know what I was doing, but yeah, the sidelines were open for the media. We weren't crammed into a little corner like we were with Josh McDaniels. And John Fox would come over and tell Dick Cheney jokes. And I remember John Fox coming up to me. He's like, "You like comic books? What the hell's an Ant-Man?" Because two of his sons work for Marvel, and they were working on Captain America. I think it was Winter Soldier at the time. And then the next project they were going to work on was Ant-Man. And so John Fox had to ask me, he's like, "Who the hell's Ant-Man?" So, plenty of great conversations, but that's Foxy coming over to the media. With Mike Shanahan, he used to be able to stand right there. He used to be able to stand on the sidelines. I've been around great coaches. I've been around a Dick Vermeil at the Shrine Bowl. I've talked to so many coaches, innumerable number of coaches, legends, Marv Levy. One of my first Shrine Bowls, I got to stand next to Marv Levy. I think I've told the story about when I was making fun, of the Lions and just kind of the situation. Like, oh, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that when I'm in public. But either way, like, I know what great coaching is. I know that Nathaniel Hackett was a clown. So it's not me being personal or making an attack and being mean. I don't want to be a bully. But Nathaniel Hackett was an absolute clown. Just a clown show for the Broncos. Let's not really practice football. I know we're going to play football, but let's not practice football because we have analysis and data. Oh, screw your data and screw your analytics. Now, analytics I think are important. I think it's interesting, but football is football. You have to be violent, you have to practice violence. I'm sorry. And Keith wants a Hackett story. Whew. Maybe if you catch me at a public appearance, I could tell you some Hackett stories, like in person. But let's just say he was more interested in sucking up to Russell Wilson, really, than he was in coaching the team. He would like run drills. He would take snaps as a fullback. Like it's just dumb. Like it's just dumb. Rule number one in life: don't be dumb. Be a good person. Don't be dumb. Nathaniel Hackett's a really good person. Like, I think he is he's a good man. He's funny. He's a good man. He just wasn't a good head coach, and he acted like a clown. Like, you have to be a coach. There's a certain sense of regalness. Again, Mike Shanahan. Why can't everyone be like Mike Shanahan? Please? Like, Mike Shanahan was just so regal, so authoritative. Like, he ran the show. He ran the show. He wasn't looking around. What do I do now? Let me go take some snaps at fullback. Like, he ran the show. Sean Payton gave me that same feeling at rookie minicamp. He's just running everything. And, you can't really say what the sideline conversations are, but Sean Payton was making sure that everyone knew the play because it's about quality of reps. It's not number of reps. It's the quality of the reps that you take. So it was very important to me to see Sean Payton noticing when someone didn't know the play, correcting that, and then running the rep the right way. This is Peyton Manning-like when it comes to practice. I've seen Peyton Manning stop practice, redo a rep until the team gets it right. You know what Sean Payton did at rookie minicamp? He was making sure that people knew the play, that you ran it the right way, and if you didn't, he would stop practice and he would run it again. Not giving too much away, but just know that Sean Payton is running everything, and I love that. I absolutely dig that. And I think it's a sign of great coaching. Of course, he has that authority like a Mike Shanahan. So it's great to see. It's fantastic to see. And reason I got off on this tangent, boy, have I been a lot of places in a little bit of time on this show. I apologize. Sometimes when I do these solo shows, it's just a brain dump, and I'll complain about my friends in the Denver media. Like, pay attention, everybody. I'm not there to play grab ass. I don't care about that. Like, pay attention. You got hey, the Broncos are right there. Pay attention, right there, Broncos. And because Sean Payton has shut this thing down, and we don't get the same access that we used to, like, hell yeah, if we're out there, you better be paying attention. You better be watching practice. But I bring it up because of Nick Kosmider, dear friend from The Athletic. He is a very, very good Broncos reporter. Very good. And Nick loves basketball. He's good at his job. So basically, and again, not to give too much away, and I'm not going to name names, but like, if somebody reports something that's not worth talking about, guess what we're not going to do on this show? We're not going to talk about it. If Nick Kosmider reports something that I think is interesting, I'm going to talk about it because Nick's good. So that's where the heavy dose of Pirine comes into play, because last week Nick had a report for The Athletic that said, hey, even if Javonte Williams is healthy, they're preparing for a heavy dose of Samaje Pirine. And I could see that certainly happening. I could see a 50-50 split. Again, Javonte won't be 100% probably all year. And Javonte in week 1 will be 75%. I mean, I think with Samaje Pirine, who is in line to get the most touches that he's had since his rookie season. Now, his rookie season wasn't very good. Trust me, Samaje Pirine is my motorboat rookie of the year coming out of OU. What do you have, like 8 touchdowns in that one game, like 300 yards, whatever it was? I love Samaje Pirine in college. He went to Washington, not to get the Commanders, but like he went to Washington. He wasn't very good. It's like 3.8 a carry. He got, I think it was 195 touches, something like that, top of my head. And he's never come close to that number again. But in the 16-15 seasons Sean Payton was with the New Orleans Saints, his number 2 running back got over 100 carries 11 times. Guess what's going to happen with Samaje Pirine? And by the way, Pirine may just be the lead back. And Javonte, because of the injury, might be the number 2. And he might begin the season on the pup. Like, there's so many things. I don't really want to talk about Javonte much because all we hear is like, hey, he's going to be ready week 1. And I don't think he will. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But know that there is going to be a heavy dose of Samaje Pirine coming. And I think that's good news for the Denver Broncos, because you have that veteran that you can rely on that has relatively low miles as a pro back who's been in the league several years now. It's not like he's been running to the ground. We're not talking about Ezekiel Elliott here. We're talking about a back that is somewhat fresh, career-wise. Fresh legs, capable. I think he's gotten much better as a 3-down back. Like, when he came out of OU, again, my motorboat rookie of the year, look it up. He was power. He was power, had that, big bubble and strong lower body, and that's what he was about. He was about living between the tackles, punishing defenders, stuff like that. And as a receiver, he'd almost kind of stab at the ball. Like, you're not flipping burgers. You're like, you don't stab at the football. You catch the football, bring it in, grab it. Thumbs above the chest line, pinkies when it's below the chest line. Anyway, I think Samaje Pirine has done a great job well-rounding his career after being, honestly, somewhat of a failure with Washington and not being their lead back of the future, not being their bell cow, really getting that opportunity as a rookie, not looking good as a rookie. I think Samaje Pirine has done a fantastic, tremendous job of becoming more well-rounded and having that 3-down skill set, really working hard as a pass catcher there as well. So Pirine as the lead back, Javonte as the second back, Javonte as the lead back, Pirine as the second back. It's 1A and 1B, and whatever. It could be on a weekly basis. It could differ. It could vary from week to week who gets the most touches and who's more involved in the game plan. You also have Jaleel McLaughlin there. I think Mason and I have said plenty about Jaleel McLaughlin. There'll be more to say, especially when everyone's on the field together. I would guess, and again, I'm not giving anything away because it hasn't happened yet, but I would guess when I see practice with the full Broncos team that we're hoping it should be full attendance, when I see full OTAs and minicamp for the Broncos, I'm going to guess that I see Jaleel McLaughlin with the first team for at least a small handful of reps. And again, I'm not revealing too much because it hasn't happened yet, but I am guessing, and I'm making what I feel is a pretty good guess. I feel that Jaleel McLaughlin will get some first team touches, especially because Javonte's not going to practice. So you're going to have to take a look at other backs. Your best back not named Samaje Perine is Jaleel McLaughlin. So he will get first team reps for this team in OTAs and minicamp, mandatory minicamp, and I'm almost positive of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. So a heavy dose of Perine, sure, you bet. That's what the Broncos will have to do. Perine's ready for it. And, is he a 4-yard to carry guy? Is he a 5-yard to carry guy? We're fixing to find out, as Gary said. His career numbers, yards per carry, have been coming down. It's not all about numbers. It's also about role. Every rep needs to be looked at in an individual manner. The overall season-long numbers can tell you a little bit of something. Again, his career yards per carry has been going down, but it's not a total indicator of yes, his game is slumping, or no, his game is on point. But either way, and this team will run the hell out of the ball. And I understand there will be times, and I wrote an article about the fantasy football playoffs because I'm never not. Is that a double negative? I guess it is. I am rarely not thinking about fantasy football. And when I look forward to the Broncos playoff schedule, this will be coming up at denversports.com. And it'll be probably later in the week. Let's see what the Nuggets do tonight. And then you'll have availability to read my fantasy football article at denversports.com. I said, hey, when you're in your fantasy playoffs, one, we're going to know pretty much how the season's gone for the Broncos. But in the season finale, against the Chargers, against Justin Herbert, against all of those weapons, including now with more Quentin Johnston. Yeah, thanks for that. And against that pass rush, against those enforcers in the secondary, the key to success is running it down their throat, playing keep away from Justin Herbert. And I think really you're going to see that for a couple of reasons. Russell Wilson will need to make plays when the time is right. You're not going to put too much pressure on him to feel like he has to make the play or else the team's going to fail. No, you're going to set up Russell Wilson for success. His best way to be set up for success is running the ball. So you're going to run the ball extensively if you're the Denver Broncos. That's where the heavy dose of Perine comes in. That's where Javonte Williams comes in. That's where Jaleel McLaughlin. Basically, those can be those short passes to McLaughlin, and I think he can work from the slot as well. I have not seen him from the slot, full disclosure. Again, the Broncos are very touchy, and probably even more touchy now with Sean Payton about what you're seeing or what type of packages. I would just use Jaleel McLaughlin in the slot at times. But those short passes to McLaughlin are like long handoffs, whatever. You can use McLaughlin. It'll be a pass, but it's technically set up to be kind of like a run. Think of the 49ers, if you will. And hell, just think of everything that Sean Payton did with the numerous backs that he had. He had his Mark Ingram to soften up the defense. He had his Alvin Kamara. Go back to the Pierre Thomas days. We've seen it before with Sean Payton. It's not going to be a mystery if we see backs lined up in the slot or even out wide sometimes. But using the backfield as your main way to attack, I think in the late season, especially that game against the Chargers, because you can't go toe-to-toe with Justin Herbert. I don't want to be negative, but you can't go toe-to-toe with Justin. If you try to hey, we're going to go pass for pass, tit for tat, whatever, with the Chargers, you're going to lose. Now, they might choke and you may win because the Chargers choke, but that's for the playoffs. But either way, if you fast forward and I pre-game plan it, basically, I'm thinking of going against the Chargers and just running it down their throat. Then Joey Bosa, Joey Bosa's awesome. How about stopping the run? Okay, you've got playmakers on basically all three levels of that defense. How about you beat the hell out of them? How do they respond then? You can't pin your ears back and go after the quarterback because you can't build a 14-0 lead because the Broncos won't give you the ball. And they won't give you the ball because they keep running and keep running and keep running. It's like Dora, right? Isn't that just keep swimming, just keep running? If you're Sean Payton, I think that would work well, especially in a contest against a team like that. You could say the same thing for Kansas City, but they don't play the Chiefs there in those final 3 weeks. Granted, you shouldn't be playing fantasy football in week 18 anyway. So that's what's coming up at denversports.com. Again, Andrew Mason and me will be in studio together tomorrow and running through the latest Broncos news and notes. And I guess I just got stuck on one topic. The heavy dose of Samaje Perine. That's right. Heavy dose of Samaje Perine is coming regardless of if Javonte Williams is healthy or 100% or the back. I'd say this. Let's say there's some magical world where Javonte Williams is 100% week 1. 100% ready to go. He's still in a near 50-50 split with Samaje Perine. And that doesn't mean Javonte's terrible or whatever. Everyone knows what I think about Javonte. It's well documented. We've got the documents. But this Broncos backfield is going to be, there'll be plenty of touches. Let's just say that. Because they will lead the way on the ground. They will do it with Samaje and Javonte there as well. And again, watching Sean Payton, I would suggest this. And I've got some dear friends out in the country, out at Grover. And as I've gone back home a few times this off season, I've told them, get to training camp. Like, I don't mean to tell you what to do with your business, but get to training camp. Like, especially if the joint practices, if you can, because it's actual football. I cannot tell you how excited. Again, that's why I'm pissed off when I see people playing grab ass in the Denver media instead of watching practice, because I'm like, we actually get to see football. This isn't Nathaniel Hackett, like, let's not do anything and let's run some sprints maybe and then let me line up a fullback. This is actual football. And just wait till the pads come on. I mean, my God. It'll remind me of the days in Greeley, minus the smell. Which I don't mind the smell of Montford's feedlot because 1, I'm crazy, 2, I'm from the country, and 3, I grew up on a feedlot. So, like, smells like home. Anyway, you're going to see real football. Get your ass to training camp. The Broncos ready to kick ass. Take names, Double Live Gonzo on the wild side. I am Cecil Lammey. And we appreciate everyone for watching Orange Blue today, presented by Sean Payton. I appreciate Sean Payton for sponsoring the show. And everyone check them out. Everyone check out our YouTube channel and really help us grow the channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. And if you watch the video to the end, I know it's annoying every time I say it, but the YouTube algorithm is ever elusive. And it says that if someone watches to the end, it'll help recommend the channel for more people. So please help us grow our YouTube channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, all those sorts of things. And it really, really helps us. And we've got big plans for this show. So I'm not going to spoil too much. We're like the Broncos, right? We've got some secrets coming up. But we have some really big plans for this show. And we were able to start the show last year in its half-hour format. I know that a lot of people have asked for it longer. Let me just say that is in consideration, and we'll see what's coming with that. But we have a ton of great content for you. Denversports.com. We're all over the Denver Nuggets historic run. Seeing the Nuggets in the NBA Finals would be cool. Would be really, really cool. So we'll see what they can do tonight. Either way, appreciate everyone out there. And this is from Kenpo Karate, because I've had people ask me, like, what's that, Jay-Z, the Illuminati? Like, no, it's Kenpo Karate. Be safe, be kind, know that you are appreciated. Stay tuned. And as always, please, would you? How about you do this? Stay frosty.